Hello, welcome back to another World of Tanks replay with your host Bjorn. Today I have for you the American Tier 5 Premium Heavy Tank, the T14. World of Tanks wise, this thing's an antique. This is actually one of the first, it's not the first, but it's one of the first premium tanks in the game. This tank is actually the first premium heavy that was released for the Americans that I'm aware of. I believe this even predates the M6 Mutant and the T34. T34. The thing I can say about this tank, history-wise, it's actually considered... we called it an assault tank. The British called it an infantry tank. We didn't like the idea of the term infantry tank on tanks, mostly because tank doctrine was written that tanks support infantry. So every tank in the American eyes was an infantry tank. Even the M3 Lee and the M4, they were all built to support infantry. So it's an assault tank. We'll just say that first off. This tank it functioned. They built two prototypes. One was sent to the UK. One was here in Aberdeen. The one in Aberdeen no longer exists, but you can actually, it's not on display right now, but you can see this at Bovington Tank Museum. It's the last one in existence. Yeah, this tank was just a failure from the get-go. The big thing is to really start the whole history off of the vehicle. The early Churchills were very mechanically unreliable and not well liked by the British armed forces. So they decided they wanted a new infantry tank. One of the vehicles was Excelsior. Excelsior worked, but the thing is with Excelsior, it got shelved because they got the bugs worked out at Churchill. So their opinion was why build a new tank? But in the process, when they were doing trials on Excelsior, we sent them one of these T14s. They did trials to it, and the tank sort of worked, but they didn't like it. The big reason is the tanks, point out a couple features here. The track skirts originally wasn't going to be on the T14, and they were added to attract the British into buying it because they like track skirts on their tanks. The problem is, if you look at photographs, the track skirts, they don't exist. Actually, the one in Bovington still doesn't have the track skirts mounted fast. And that's because the big problem with this vehicle the tracks had kept popping off. I'm not sure what that's related to. Let's get this started, because there's quite a bit of history of this vehicle, even though it was never actually put in service. So the one in Bovington, when the British Armed Forces had it, they took the track skirts off, so it was quicker and easier to repair the track. It take a lot of time to take off the track to work around the track skirts. With the Americans, we didn't like it because it was heavier than the Sherman. We would rather ship. Three Shermans to one T14. I'm not sure what other issues they had, but really, the American Armed Forces, while they experimented with some heavy tanks, there was the T14, the T1, finally the M6. They never really wanted a heavy tank. So that being said, so with America, this tank was a failure from the get-go, because essentially it was, a heavy tank would be cool, but we really don't want one. That simple. The British didn't like it. They couldn't find it reliable because the tracks kept popping off. And they finally got the Churchills to mechanically function the way they needed them to. So this was also shelved and it was sent to Bovington Tank Museum after a while, alongside the Excelsior. So the Excelsior and the T14 here pretty much go hand in hand. Oop, missed that shot. A little slow in the draw. The other thing I can say about this tank too is, if you look at it, it looks like an oversized Sherman, and that's because essentially that's what exactly it was. All right, so DW2. Yeah, man, the 75 millimeter, it's not a very good gun, honestly. Thank God this tank has preferred matchmaking. So here we go, put a round in that DW. Is this douche wagon gonna pop out again? Yeah, he is. Put another round into him. Put another round into him. I don't know what he's doing. He must be napping. Put another round into him. Bounce a shot from him. Bounce another shot and get the kill. There's Luke's. And somehow I didn't pen him, whatever. You know, 75 millimeter gun, whatever. So I'm going to start to move forward. And this thing does, it actually moves at a pretty good clip, but the traverse speed is god awful on the hull. It does not want to turn for shit. But a lot of the parts that were actually, oh, there we go. Okay, I'm going to load the gold. Problem is the Matilda can pen me pretty reliably. I can't pen the Matilda pretty reliably. And that's the problem a lot with this tank, is it just can't really pen things reliably. Okay, there's Matilda, bounced off this gun mantle. And I'm bouncing shots from him, just getting lucky. There we go, he penned me, and there we go, there's the kill. Gonna move up. So as you can see, the hull traverse is just god awful. This really isn't a very good tank. I just play it because I like it. I don't know. It's kind of an oddball. Oop. KV2 was paying attention, waiting for him. Or sorry, KV1 was paying attention, but he's not. So I'm going to put some in the back of him, back of his turret. There we go. 2 pens. And the M3 blocks my shot, and I just lost the chance of getting a high caliber. And I'm really having a ripping game here. All right, so here we go. Get back on this KV1. And I'm really taking a beating from this KV1, but he gets distracted. I'm going to put some rounds into him. There we go. Grab that kill. There's kill number 5. But a lot of parts too that was used in the Sherman was also used in this. One thing I can point out is the bogey suspension under the track skirts. And actually it's like a double stacked bogey suspension. You have a bogey suspension and then another bogey suspension. Oh, there we go. Oops. Put a round into him. Auto lock. Hit him with some HE and okay, I'll take a ram kill that I wasn't intentionally trying to ram. So there we go, 6 kills. That's top gun. Now I'm just gonna wait here a bit. I'm gonna wait for my team to move up and maybe one of those other guys to spot. You know, at this point I'm a pretty hurting puppy, and yeah, I really don't want to get pegged by that Marder 38T. All right, here we go. Matilda 4 is going to move up. I'm going to slide up behind him a little bit. I don't want to get too close, so that way if he has to back up, I'm not in his way. Side scrape here. Wait for a spot. He's getting shot, but he didn't spot it. So yeah, very unique. Okay, there we go. There's the martyr. Let's start to aim, and somebody grabs the kill. Okay, now where's that Luke's? And there we go. There's the win. So let's show you the results here. There we go. Ace Tanker. I haven't played this tank in a long time now, and this was actually the first time I played it, I think, in probably about 3 or 4 months. This isn't my first ace tanker in this tank either. It's every once in a while I do fairly well in it. Got a top gun. Like I said, I'm still a little upset. I'm pretty sure I actually could have pulled with 1800 damage at this tier. I could have pulled a high caliber 2, which would have been nice. But Allied M3 had to block my shot when I was trying to fight KV1. Or sorry, not the KV1. It was the VK3001H. Yeah, so that sucked. But whatever, still a decent game. Top damage overall. Panzer H had a pretty good game, and even the enemy KV1 had a pretty good game, and even the Martyr 38T on the enemy team had a pretty good game, and the Matilda 4 did fairly well on my team. So all the way around, it was a good game. There you go. How often are you going to see a T14 replay? I can't think of any I've ever seen. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed the T14 replay, and I'll see you next time.